Now I'm coming up on just about 3 weeks with the Xiaomi Mi 11, and after using the camera extensively over these past few weeks, I feel like I can finally give you guys a definitive analysis of the camera. So what I'm gonna do today is go ahead and cover each focal length. I'm gonna cover video in both daylight and low light scenarios. And overall, we'll go ahead and cover some of the special features that you get when you use this camera system. But before we get into the video, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, this is Ike's Tech Talk, where we cover the latest in tech news, reviews, and discussions. If that's something that you're interested in, do yourself a favor, hit that like and subscribe button down below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Now, when it comes to the sensor on the Xiaomi Mi 11, the specifications, while they don't tell the entire story, does give some context in regards to why certain photos and videos come out the way that they do. So, to provide you with those specifications, the Xiaomi Mi 11 comes equipped with a 108 megapixel sensor, a 13 megapixel ultra wide sensor, a 5 megapixel super macro sensor, and then last but not least, that selfie camera on the front is rocking a 20 megapixel sensor. So now that we have all of the specifications for the camera out the way, let's go ahead and take a look at some footage. The photos that came out of the Mi 11 were sharp and crisp with ton of detail. The one area I wasn't impressed was with the colors. At some points they were a bit saturated for my taste, but that's going to be 100% preference based. So if you like photos that are a little bit more colorful and punchy, you're definitely gonna like the output of the Xiaomi Mi 11. Shots from the ultra-wide camera came out equally great as well. There was no distortion on either ends of my photos, and the ultra-wide angle on the lens was more than wide enough to get a ton in my shots. The consistency between the two lenses, the wide and the ultra-wide, was also pretty consistent as well. That's actually pretty hard for cameras to nail nowadays. The zoom capabilities on the Mi 11 is where this camera starts to get a bit more interesting. So what you'll find is that with most smartphones that don't have a dedicated telephoto lens, once they start cropping in digitally, things start to get kind of muddy and you lose a ton of detail. Well, the 108 megapixel sensor that the Xiaomi Mi 11 is packing really compensates for this by giving you a ton more detail in your shot. So when you crop in digitally using that 108 megapixel sensor, you still retain a ton of detail. I actually found that taking 2x photos on this particular device was comparable to taking 2.5x telephotos on a dedicated optical sensor that's on my iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now that's really saying something when you take into account that the Xiaomi does not have dedicated hardware for any type of zoom capabilities. I even decided to push this zoom just a bit further at 5x and even at 10x just to see what type of output I can get. And the results were actually really impressive. Now, when speaking about that third super macro lens on the Mi 11, most content creators will just write it off as Xiaomi just trying to add an additional cheaper lens to fill out the spec sheet. But instead of having that thought process, I wanted to go ahead and see what the lens was made of. I did go ahead and get some really cool shots, so we'll go ahead and flash those side by side. Now, in this first one, the first thing you'll notice is where I was standing from the leaf to the super macro zoom shot. And I gotta say, this was actually really fun and really cool to pull off. You still get a ton of detail, like take a look at all the different veins in the leaf and overall just how clear the shot really is. I'm gonna go ahead and roll just a few more examples of this, just so that way you guys can see exactly what that super macro lens is capable of. That 20 megapixel front-facing selfie camera isn't a slouch either. I was able to get some really solid selfie shots out of this. And I'm even gonna include this really cool portrait mode selfie that I took showing off my brand new XM4s that I think really rivals anything else out on the market. Now, a quick quality of life feature I found with the Xiaomi Mi 11's camera is if you use either of the volume buttons as your shutter, you'll get a countdown, which allows you to frame your shot. I can't tell you guys how valuable this was when either one, trying to take a selfie, or two, whenever I was just trying to line up a shot and had to extend my arm a bit too far for me to hit that shutter button digitally. These are the type of features that I feel like all manufacturers should implement on their devices. Now, as the sun sets, you can still get some amazing photos using the nighttime mode on the Xiaomi Mi 11. But I do want to make sure that everybody is aware the Xiaomi Mi 11 has essentially two night modes. So you have the automatic night mode when you literally just point the smartphone at a dark or dimly lit subject and take a shot. Then you also have the dedicated night mode that when you scroll over and select manually. Now, the main difference between these two modes essentially comes down to how long of an exposure the camera actually gives you. So with that being said, you're definitely gonna want to pick and choose according to the situation that you're in. I have an example here where the auto night mode, in my opinion, actually did better than the dedicated nighttime mode because it left the scene perfectly dark but still had a ton of detail, while the dedicated nighttime brightened up the scene just a bit too much for my personal taste. But here's a situation where it's the reverse. The auto nighttime mode, unfortunately, is just a little bit more dim than the dedicated nighttime mode. Now, you can still read the auto night mode, the sign itself, but the dedicated night mode is still brighter and it's a little bit easier and clearer to read. Now let's switch gears and talk video. When it came to video, the Mi 11 again did a really solid job with just a few minor annoyances. But let me go ahead and shut my mouth and get into the footage.
Okay, so here's some rear camera 4K 30 samples for you guys to kind of digest and see here. So as you can see, at least from the viewfinder where I'm looking, video quality looks really good. The audio that you're hearing is coming directly from the Xiaomi Mi 11 also, so I'm not using an external microphone or anything like that. Now what I'll go ahead and test is the zoom here. Let's see. Okay, so that's at 2x right there. Now keep in mind there is no dedicated telephoto lens on the Xiaomi Mi 11, so you're just cropping in digitally there. But like I said, still looks pretty good. Again, this is the Xiaomi Mi 11 rear facing camera, 4K 30 frames per second. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Alright, so yeah, as you can tell by the sweat on my forehead, it's pretty hot out here in Florida right now. One of the better days that we got here in the summer so far. Has been pretty rainy lately. But this is the front-facing camera from the Xiaomi Mi 11. It's only 1080p 30 because they don't have a 4K option here. Xiaomi, I need you guys to fix that, obviously. Get on top of that. But yeah, it's 1080p 30. I'm holding out my arm pretty far from the camera too, so it is cropped in a little bit more than what I'm used to. But like I said, for 1080p 30, man, this is pretty good. Like I said, only thing I can really say is I wish that they had a 4K option. But like I said, here you're getting 1080p 30, and then you also have 1080p 60 as well. So quite a few options here, but let me know what you guys think. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. I'm talking to you, don't forget. Alright, so this is some dim 4K footage here for you guys. I just wanted to show these cameras kind of in as many situations as I possibly could, so you guys can, know what to expect as far as quality. The crunching you hear is actually hear me in the grass, my feet I'm walking. I'm using the audio again, like everything throughout this video is 100% from the Xiaomi Mi 11, no external mic, and again, no gimbal, everything is handheld. I'll go ahead and pan. You guys can get a nice little pan there. All right, and again, this is 4K footage, so let me know what you guys think.
The footage doesn't stop there. As you're probably aware, the Xiaomi Mi 11 supports 8K video recording. Let's take a look at how it turned out.
Okay guys, here's some 8K footage from the Xiaomi Mi 11. I am doing all the audio directly from the phone as well, no external mic on this shot. So just want to go ahead and test out stabilization. I'm doing this 100% handheld. Sorry if you guys can hear that, there's a plane going past right now, but just wanted to get you guys some footage here. It's kind of dim, not super bright. I still think, at least to the viewfinder, that the Mi 11 is still doing pretty good, considering, again, this is 8K footage. I'll definitely take a look and play this back, obviously, once I get back to the computer and edit everything. But 8K looks pretty good here on this phone, guys. Go ahead and keep going. Just want to pan a little bit, that way you guys can see if it does any of the stuttering or anything like that. Alright, but again, 8K footage from the Xiaomi Mi 11, guys. Let me know what you think down below.
With the video system on the Mi 11, Xiaomi's really targeting it to cinematographers. So they added quite a few kind of cinema effects. I'm gonna highlight two of them that I really had a good time using. I'm gonna share them with you guys here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Using Parallel World, you're able to get that Inception building folding on itself effect. It was really fun to replicate that scene in Inception, as that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So like I said, this was a really fun effect to use and just made the overall experience of using the Xiaomi 11 just a bit more fun. The next one is called Magic Zoom. Now with Magic Zoom, essentially you're pointing it at a subject and you're watching the zoom effect happen. With this one in particular, I found that the best way to use it was to have the proper amount of distance between you and your subject, or else it kind of seems to fall apart just a bit. Also, bear in mind, using these camera effects, they only go up to 1080p. So you're not gonna be able to get any type of like 4K resolution or anything like that when using them. So if you have any plans to use them, just make sure that you have the right conditions, lighting and everything to get the most out of these effects. So to wrap things up, Xiaomi absolutely killed it when it came to the Mi 11's camera system. Not only are you getting a ton of great functionality and capabilities in the camera and video, you're also getting great quality. While most cameras are sacrificing either quality or feature set, Xiaomi finds that perfect mid-ground and gives you both of them. The features are there if you need them, but the point and shoot experience is just as seamless as if you didn't have those extra features at all. If you're interested in the Mi 11 and you're wondering how the camera holds up, that is definitely a great selling point for this particular device. But that's gonna do it for the video today, guys. But before you go, let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of the Xiaomi Mi 11's camera system? As always, this is Ike's Tech Talk. Have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.